What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Johnny Nitafan, and in today's episode, we got I Crack Codes, Anthony
Yeah.
Patton, coming live from where you at? Florida?
No, I'm in Texas, man. Austin.
Texas. You were just in Florida. I got that confused.
Yes, sir. Tampa,
Got
Florida.
you. Boom. So wanted to bring him on. Top producer. This guy, it's cool because when I was trying to learn Facebook ads, he was talking about his acquisition cost was literally stupid low. We're talking 30, 40, 50, $70, like low. And so that's when I was like at 250, 300 trying to break in. And so I wanted to bring him on, top telesales producer, building an agency now. This dude is making sales constantly, just did about like 7 or 8,000 the other day, doing it like multiple times throughout the week. And so wanted to bring him on to be able to help you guys out and really just break down the practicals of the final expense telesales business and how you can start scaling your business as well. So Anthony, thanks
Yes,
for
sir.
coming on, man.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thanks for the introduction, man. I'm gonna try to focus 100% of my intention on literally just helping whoever it is that's watching this. Maybe you're thinking about getting into telesales or maybe the life insurance industry. You're definitely tuned into the right podcast. So glad to be here,
Yes,
brother.
sir. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, I seen you started definitely creating a lot more content. What's kind of the behind that?
Dude, just get more serious about helping people, man. Like when I first started as an agent, I wasn't necessarily looking for someone to kind of hold my hand as I started, but I just realized the lack of support, especially as a new agent getting started, not knowing anything to final expense. And this was about 3 years ago. So I'm still fairly pretty new. There's
Yeah.
just a big gap in support. And so I want to be able to just plug in where I can. And when I come across gems, I try to spark, some content up and drop it.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's what's up. I've really actually liked your content recently, especially you've been posting the links on Facebook and things like that. And if you guys don't already follow him or subscribe to him, go check out his channel, I Crack Codes. He's got a lot of great stuff. And what's cool is I was watching one of your videos and I picked this up, used it, and like honestly, it's been like helping me crush it like crazy about social, right? So like building the yes momentum. Hey, are you a US citizen? Were you born in the US? Yes, yes, yes.
Whoa,
And it's
whoa,
like,
whoa,
okay.
man, you're dropping too much on them, brother.
So yeah, break that down. How do you get the social like it's clockwork and make them feel comfortable giving out such value, like such private information as a lot of people would feel like.
Yeah, so like a recurring theme that we're probably going to come across is like there's nothing special that I say, right? Like
Yeah.
it's really building the foundation, like building rapport and just showing the client that you're there, man. You're listening, right? Like you guys are
Yeah.
really listening to their needs. And then once you're able to do that, I mean, you could ask for pretty much everything except for the keys to the Mercedes. You know what I mean? So if you if you do your job right from the very beginning and your intentions are pure and not just on focusing on an outcome, but you're focused on truly helping your clients, I mean, they're going to help you help them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I will
Yeah,
say,
bro.
because you did touch on it, there is a way that I ask for the social, and it's very similar to like how most government documents look. So I ask them if they're a U.S. citizen first, and that's what Johnny was saying, and then I ask them what state they were born in, and then I go straight into the social. I don't really, I don't let my nerves get the best of me, and the way you do that is through repetition. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Boom.
just
Dude, let's role play real quick. So you're going in for the social for me. What walk me through it.
yeah. So they make me ask you, Johnny. I already know the answer to it, but are you a United States citizen?
Yes.
Perfect. I already checked. Yes, I already knew you were. And what state were you born in?
New Mexico.
New Mexico. Perfect. And what's your social?
122222.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I don't get a lot of objections right there, guys. If I do get an objection, I use a little NLP on them and I just, tell them, hey, I don't need your social. They need it for one of two reasons. The first reason, Johnny, is because the carrier is going to need to identify your body in order to pay your son that check for $10,000. So notice how I paint a picture. I don't use words like beneficiary. I don't use words like death benefit. I get very clear on exactly what we're doing. And the second reason they need your social, Johnny, is because, man, we don't do medical exams anymore. That's a thing of the past. You don't want to get poked up with needles. All they're going to do is run an MIB check on you, and that way it's real simple for you. Go ahead when you're ready. And that's kind of my go-to rebuttal for that.
Yeah, that's huge. Do you have in the beginning of the call, do you have them write down your like your state producer number or no?
Hey, that's a great question, dude. I actually just give them my cell phone, and I give them my cell phone number and my first and last name. I keep all the ammunition, right? So in the court of telesales, anything you say can and will be held against you, right? That's kind of something that I use. So I want to keep my evidence, baby. I'm going to keep my evidence till the end, because you can use that later on when maybe they do give you an objection on banking, right? Hey, Johnny, I definitely, I understand your concern. You don't really like to do this over the phone. I'll tell you what, you still got that pen and paper handy?
Yeah.
Go ahead and write this number down. This is my license number. It's actually called an NPN, fancy word for license number. It's 19658100 or whatever your NPN is. Give them your NPN. And then that way they can look you up in the state database. I'll even guide them to a computer. You in front of a computer? Right, boom. And then I'll have them look me up. I am who I say I am. I'll even go as far as just sending them a message on my cell phone. Like I take a picture of my business card and I'll shoot that to them in a text message. You know what I mean? And that way they'll have everything. But you want to at least, like, that's a last resort. Like if you do your job right and you build that rapport at the very beginning of the call during the needs analysis portion of your call, you won't have that many objections. But when you do, you're going to have tools like that you save for later on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's huge. So let's talk about your script, right? So like let's role play from the beginning of the call down to like obviously the closing, right?
Yeah.
So call me and let's just kind of role play it.
Yeah. Hey, Johnny, this is Anthony. Just getting back to you with the final expense plans. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Doing great, man. Thank you so much for asking. And then I'll just go into the introduction portion. I want to split this up because the script, it could take an hour if you're doing it right?
Yeah.
So all I do, and some of you guys might think this is kind of funny, but dude, I keep it simple every time. Like every single time I make a phone call, this is super important, guys. It's the same exact introduction every time. Whether it's a Facebook lead, whether it's a telemarketing callback, whether it's a web lead. My name is Anthony. I'm just getting back to you with the final expense plans. How's it going? They say good, great. And then I go into the state that they're in, right? So it looks like you're a resident in the state of Texas. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. I'm a licensed agent in the state of Texas, and I'd be happy to go over some options with you. Go ahead and grab a pen and paper. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay. Let me go grab it. All right. Perfect. I got it.
Awesome. Now, again, I'm going to have you write this down. Just want to make sure you have it, but this will go right to my cell. It's 512, whatever, right? Give them my first and last name, like I was saying, and then I hold on to the rest of that information. So from here, I'm going into who I am and what I do, right? So I'm going to tell them the kind of carriers that we're working with. I'm going to tell them the benefits of whole life because that's what we lead with.
Let's role play, right? So like, let's just go through it. Like if you're cool with it, just like, hey, how you would walk me through to go into a close. Cause we're both doing one call closes, all final expense, telesales. So I have the pen and paper, just wrote everything down. Now what do you say?
Perfect. So now I'm going to explain to them who I am and what I do. I'm a licensed agent in the state of Texas, and we work with America's top-rated carriers like American Amicable, Mutual of Omaha, AIG. You've heard some of them, right?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, perfect. And I have the script right here, by the way.
Yeah.
So if you guys see me looking down, I'm going to do it verbatim.
And I want to pause right there because that's what I do, right? I have my script always up front because what's cool is it's nice to have it on autopilot in your head. If you don't have it, right? Like obviously like we have it memorized, but when you guys are like in telesales, it's easier. Like when you just follow the script and you have the script already and you know how to say everything, having it up right there helps you really like be more present with the client, but then also it allows you to literally go through the same system every time with the client. And I like that you said that because like, I think a lot of times we think, okay, we can get away from the script. We can memorize the script and all of a sudden we don't need it anymore. But the reality is like a lot of people that I know, top producers have the script up right in front of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, like I think that way, and I don't know if it's my ego or what, but when I go away from the script and I don't look at it, I stop making sales, bro.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm missing like one or two like key things that I'll ask
Yeah.
them or something. And it's like when you go back to the script, you're wondering like, why does it work when I just read it? It's like, bro, because it's worked from the beginning. I mean, that's why it exists, right?
Yeah.
So when you go away from something that works, what do you expect is going to happen? It's not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Big
then I'll
time.
go into exactly who this coverage is for, right? So the coverage that we'll be going over today, it's designed for people between the ages of 50 and 89 who are just looking to take care of any final expenses, right? Now, most of our customers are receiving Social Security, disability, or on a fixed income. And then I'm going to go into an opening question right here in the beginning. I'll be real with you. I don't do this a lot of the time. Sometimes I will do it if I'm having a very challenging day. But I'll ask them, so Johnny, what kind of life insurance do you have in place right now to protect your family?
I don't have any. That's why I was kind of looking for some.
Oh, that totally makes sense. So can you kind of walk me through, I guess, what would happen if something were to happen to you? Who would be responsible for paying for that? I mean, what would that look like?
Yeah, I mean, my kids, they would have to be paying for the final expense if something happened.
Okay, so your kids, how many kids do you have?
I have two.
You have two kids. Awesome.
Yeah,
I have
two
like,
sons.
there you go. I got 5, so
Jeez.
so I'll kind of build rapport, right? Boom. And then I'm going into the kids. I'm going to paint an even bigger picture. So your two sons, I mean, obviously you're looking to protect them, but God forbid, Johnny, if something happened to you. I mean, do they have the means to pay for that? Do they, they have well-paying jobs or like a house they can mortgage or?
Yeah, I think it would definitely be tight, but I mean, they could. They could
Okay.
pay for it, I guess, if it came down to it. And I know they always have my back, but yeah, I
Okay.
just don't want them to.
So I'm going to explain to you a little bit about what kind of coverage we'll go over today, and then we'll see if I'll even be able to help you out. I'm sure you understand we can't always help everybody out, but
Yeah.
these plans that we're going to go over today, they're called whole life insurance policies. Okay, that just means they last your entire life. They never expire. The premiums never go up or down. And I'll tell you what, man, they go out to age 120. If you live past that, Johnny, I'll pay for your funeral. Just promise you'll tell me your secrets. and I see how I get them like smiling and going with me.
Yeah.
And then I go into the benefits and the features of the plans, right? So these build cash value, Johnny. And then I'll ask them, does everything make sense so far?
Yeah.
Perfect. And I just want to make sure you understand, Johnny. You can interrupt me at any time with any questions that you have. Just feel free to interrupt, okay?
Okay.
Now, is this policy just for you, or did you need a quote for someone else in the house as well?
It's just for me, but how much is this going to cost?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what we do, Johnny, is we actually get contracted with about 13 of the different A-rated carriers. And the way life insurance works is it's based on the rates are based on your health and your lifestyle. So just to make sure I get you the best rate, because if you're anything like me, you don't want to spend $1 more than you have to. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we're going to get into some rates here. So I have your date of birth is 8/4/65.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And then you want to leave this to both of your sons, correct?
Yeah.
Perfect. And if we find a plan that matches your needs and your budget, Johnny, when were you looking to get this started?
I got my Social Security check on the 3rd.
Okay, perfect. And then I'll just go through the list of medications. I'm gonna ask them to pull out their medications. If I could share my screen, I would, but I would go into FEX toolkits, not to plug anything, but I mean, there's two very popular ones out there, right? BPP and FEX toolkits. So
You can share your screen. You just click present.
All right, let me see. Let me just delete these other tabs up. Okay. So I'm jumping into here, share screen.
Let me know if it works.
Can you see it?
Let's see. No. Oh, wait, hold on. There we go.
Yeah, it says I'm sharing. You should be able to see.
Yeah, you're good.
So basically, I'm going in here, and as I'm asking these questions, the only reason why I wanted to share my screen, guys, is because this part is like kind of confusing to a new agent. Some places have these underwriting tools. They know about them. Some places don't have them. Guys, your job is just to make it as easy as possible for you and the client, right? So
Yeah.
you want to make sure that you guys have access to technology. 2023.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. So I'm literally putting their birthday in as we talk. Your height and weight, 5'6", 160. Do they smoke? underwriting impairments, a list of medications, and I'm going to let FEX Toolkits do all the heavy lifting for me and get me the quotes down here, right?
Yeah.
So then as I'm going through the quotes, I'm going to ask them, and this is like the close, right? This is a very big piece too. I want you guys to pay attention to how we're about to close into this section here. There's two different ways you can do it, but not to be confused, and I'm going to do it one way, okay? I'm gonna give them the quote that they want, whether it's a burial or a cremation. So Johnny, have you decided whether you want a casket or a cremation funeral?
I want a casket, like a traditional burial.
Okay, and you still got that pen and paper handy? I'm gonna give you a few quotes here.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
So the first quote, Johnny, I'm gonna give you is just for a traditional burial, and I just wouldn't go under this number, and it's gonna be for $10,000. Okay. The second quote I'm gonna give you is kind of what most of my clients go with. It's like 15,000 to 20,000. Now again, I just want to make sure you understand how this process works. I love to paint a picture for my clients. Okay. Even if you said, hey, Anthony, these quotes sound great. They're wonderful. I'm ready to sign up today. Johnny, I wouldn't be able to take your money right now if I wanted to. You have to get approved for these plans. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So once you get approved, Johnny, what they're going to do is mail everything to your house. You're going to have 30 days to look it over before you have to make a final decision. You with me?
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you.
Perfect. So then I'm going to go and quote them. For 10,000, it's $50, right? For the 15,000, it's $100. Do any of those fit your budget? Actually, a better question would be, which one of those fit your budget?
Well, yeah, I'm on a fixed income and I want to leave my kids something.
I'll always say this too, if they do say something about leaving their kids a little bit extra. Johnny, I understand that, you're doing this for your kids, right? Which is a selfless act in itself. So I will say it's easier to get approved today and take coverage away than it is to add coverage later, because you never know. You might not be in the same health later on down the road when you decide to get more coverage.
Yeah.
And that kind of helps them, make a decision about, if they want to get it. There's nothing set in stone. There's no contracts. There's no obligations. So if you ever needed to change anything, we can change them. Okay. Does the 15,000 work for you?
That's a little expensive, but is there like any other options?
Sure. Did you have a budget in mind?
I want to stay like a little under, like right around $80 a month.
Perfect. So I'm looking at my quote tool here. Still the same company, Johnny. Sometimes it switches if we mess around with the quotes. Same company, Mutual of Omaha. And it looks like I can get you that 12,000 at $80. So again, our first step is just to get you approved. Now, what's a good address that's in the policy too if you do get approved?
1717 North Ridge Drive.
There you go. You're in an application. Congratulations. So instead of like going back and forth, right?
So you take the, I need to think about it off the table right away. Say, hey, even it like a good word track that I've heard one of our top producers say is like, hey, even if you put a gun to my head and you pick a $300 option, I could not even give it to you. Life insurance isn't something that you can just purchase. You actually have to get approved for.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to say it. So,
yeah. So you take that, I need to think about it off the table. So what if I'm like, yeah, it's too expensive.
I'm going to find something in their budget. Like I don't argue with that. And that's a good point that you brought up, right? Because not every sale is closable. And the biggest challenge with final expense telesales is persistency, right?
Yep.
So you want to make sure that you're like getting them something in your budget. Now I will say this, you can force close anything, right? Because they're not paying anything today. Hey man, I get it. It's too expensive. I'll tell you what, man, we'll just get this mailed out to your house. And you could say whatever, you know what I mean? But dude, you got to think as a business owner now, right? You're not just like a W-2 employee. You're not just a life insurance agent. Like you have to wear all hats: accounting, training, you know what I mean? Software, technical support, like sales, fronter. You have to wear all hats. So you have to think like, is this in line with your business? Is this client going to cost your business money in the long run? You have to make sure that they can afford the policy. And that's why I asked that question. Hey man, it sounds like you're a little hesitant. Is there a budget that you did have in mind?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Yeah.
That's huge. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's one thing with me. Like I'm real when it comes to like objections and stuff. Like you can use word tracks and all that stuff. Like I just keep one or two things to spit real quick. And I'm not a big fighter, dude. I used to be. I grew up in like a Wolf of Wall Street kind of call center where you're squeezing the juice, you're squeezing the ROI out of every lead. Why though? Why are you doing that? Well, that's because some guy, 3 executive levels up is telling you, we need more money. We need more, it's like a money machine, right? Well, dude, you have your own business. Isn't that part of why you became a life insurance agent, to run your own business, right?
Yeah.
So you have the control to decide whether or not you want to run it like that. But that's all I was going to say about that.
Yeah, dude, that's really good. So when you get into the closing, like when you're closing objections, and like what are some of the objections that like a telesales agent would face?
Send me a quote. You get that a lot.
Well, just in closing, right? Like when you're going in
And
for the
send it in the
close.
mail. Yeah, send it in the mail. You get that a
Yeah,
lot.
I just want to get some. So let's kind of role play this, right? So somebody watching could like literally take these and start implementing, right? So they're like,
Yeah.
you're like, hey, sounds really good, Anthony. You sound like a great guy. Can you send me something in the mail, just so I can see it in writing?
Yeah, Johnny, absolutely. So, I mean, everything that we just went over, I just want to make sure that what I'm going to send is going to be the correct information. Is the quote okay?
Yeah.
Quote's good. The death benefit, is that okay? Is that good enough?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then what's a good address to send it to?
1717 Northridge.
You see how easy that was? You're back in an application. It's almost unbelievable. It's almost like, what did he just do? You're going to have to rewind this and replay it to figure out that I don't see that as an objection. What are we doing, right? What is the goal? Dude, it's to send it in the mail anyways. Don't make it an objection, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to send it to you in the mail, brother. You got 30 days to look it all over. Now, obviously, once you get to banking and social, right, you might encounter a problem, but you know that as an agent. So now when you address that objection, you have to tell yourself, dude, I didn't build enough rapport, right? I didn't establish trust. This guy probably doesn't trust me. So now I got to bring it back to the reason that he's looking for life insurance. And 9 times out of 10, Johnny, it's always price. It's just too expensive, right? And the reason that I'm saying this is, man, I don't get objections. Like once I get past the quote, I don't get objections. Like I don't know why. I do know why, but most agents, they talk themselves out of a sale, and they don't ask for the close. If you just ask for the close and you do a good enough job explaining, and that's why I paint a picture before the quote, Johnny. Before we even go over quotes, right? And you can rewind this part too. I say
you have to.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I like to paint a picture. What they're gonna do is get you approved. Once you get approved, they're gonna send this to you in the mail. That way you can look it over in writing, and you'll have 30 days to make a final decision. Now you'll even notice, dude, that was verbatim to what I said. I'm not guessing what I'm gonna say. That's literally a part of my script. But I do that so I don't get objections in the end.
So what if someone's like, hey, like, so they already give you your social, you get to the banking, and they're like, so talk us through your banking close.
So
like,
the
how
banking,
do you do that?
Yep, you do have to have an active checkings or savings to be eligible for these plans. Do you have either of those, Johnny?
I have a Direct Express card. Do you ask that beforehand? I was going to ask you that.
Sometimes I do. I handle Direct Express a little bit different. So I have access to carriers who will actually take Direct Express. Now, if you ask 80% of the agents in our industry whether they write Direct Express, you'll get a variety of answers. I'm always going to say, yeah, dude, I write everything, like except for direct mail.
But like, say you write an American Amicable plan, they don't take Direct Express. So what do you? So do you? That's what I'm saying. Like, do you ask that beforehand when you're in the discovery?
No, I used to, but I if they have Direct Express, I just explain to them. Most insurance companies, they charge like a 2 to 3% processing fee for credit cards. I could probably do it a little bit better with another company, so we'll just go that route. The name of the company is XYZ, right? And then I'm gonna write them with that company.
So you'll just go back through the application with a different company.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I used to say on that, like, hey, just see if you qualify for the savings plan. Do you have an active checking account? And if they say no, like, what? Okay, like, do you have a savings account? Like, just to dig for that banking, right? And then
absolutely,
they're like, because banking's huge, right? Banking will help, especially with persistency and being able to have that. Like, and a lot of there's some carriers that won't advance on Direct Express.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah, you're
so
100%
that's
right.
why. Yeah, so I try to stay with that because it's a more solidified sale in that regard. Yeah, so you get there, okay. So you ask, so you go back through, right? We'll role play this again. Yeah, so ask that.
So you're with, A Plus Credit Union, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm with Chase Bank.
Okay, perfect. And you open that account in Texas, right?
Yeah.
So as they're telling me where they open their account, I'm in Google in another tab and I'm typing in Chase Bank routing, Texas. Boom. Okay, perfect. I just need to verify some information with you. I do have the routing number for Chase Bank as 111-000-614. Is that what you have?
I don't know.
Go ahead and grab a blank check or a statement. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay. I don't have any checks.
Do you get a statement? Most people get like a paper statement in the mail.
Yeah, I do. Let me go grab it. Okay. Which number do you need on the statement?
I'm gonna verify the routing number with you. I just need to make sure it's the right one. I have 111-000-614. Is that what you show on there?
On the bank statement, I don't know if it says that.
Okay. What number do you
where
have?
do I find that?
So I would go and Google that too. Like I'm serious. I use Google for everything.
That's it. That's it.
Like,
yeah,
like, okay,
that's it. I just wanted you to like kind of say like, okay, because
what do I do?
That's
right?
yeah, right. Like just kind of because for new agents, right? These are little tips and tricks that like a lot of sales are won and lost here. And these are just like some tactical things to use, right? So as you guys noticed, when you have to ask where they open the account, and then that uses to your advantage. So you say, okay, perfect. What bank do you usually use? Wells Fargo. Okay, perfect. Did you open that one in whatever city they're in? Okay, awesome. Because sometimes the city's different too.
Yeah, the routing will be different on the city. So
yeah, but like the big banks, right? Like Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, those will always be the same usually. But what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say most companies too. So now you have to get the number right, or it'll tell you like, hey, this isn't a real bank account. So, and that's also another reason why I use one carrier. And I want any new agent listening to this, man, you guys think that you need every single carrier. Why? Because you're a broker and you can write every single dude. You're messing yourself up in the long run. It's so much easier to just stick with one carrier. Think of the most successful final expense telesales agencies out there. I'm talking to you, Johnny, because new agents aren't going to know. North Star, AMM, right? I know somebody, Anthony Martin, he only writes Mutual of Omaha, right? Assurance, they only write Primerica, or not Primerica, Lumico or Prudential, right?
Yeah.
So they keep it simple because A, it's easier to manage your book on that. B, if they have systems built out to stop banking from like being negligent, then use it. Like that's to your advantage. And it's just easier for you and the client, not necessarily the price every time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge, dude. It's funny that you say that. I actually started just writing Senior Life because they take both. So they take Direct Express and they don't advance on Direct Express, but they also have banking, and then they have like 11 different products to write. So then it's like, I took your advice on that one. I remember you saying that, and you're like, simplify your business, and that was like in January. And I think that's such a good piece of advice to any agent out there. Use one, maybe two carriers, right? Like have your go-to, and then maybe have like an AIG, or like have one carrier if they have everything with its guaranteed issue and a super preferred rating, because it simplifies it so much, right? Like a lot of times sometimes there's going to be like, sometimes there's just going to be these things that come up, and it's like, if you write all these spread carriers, you may get a charge back on a carrier you never write, right? So
exactly. Yeah, big point right there, dude.
Yeah, bro, that's huge. So in terms of go ahead.
I was just going to keep expanding on the banking, right? So if they say they don't know, still, hey man, I don't even have a checkbook. You know what, dude? I don't even mess with it. All I got is a debit card. It's not a Direct Express, right? It's a bank card, right?
Yeah, a debit card.
All right, Johnny, give me 1 sec. I'm going to get them on the line. You're just going to ask them for your account number. I'm going to three-way the bank.
Oh yeah. Like
Yeah.
Bancorp or like I actually had to do that today. That one's big. Like Net Spend. You got the what other ones are there? There's the Go-To Bank, MetaBank.
Any bank, dude. Any bank.
Yeah.
I will say, like some, like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, they won't give it to the client over the phone, like some of them. But you'll never know if you never try. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and just look it up, right? Say, hey, they're a preferred vendor. Let me, because we have a great relationship with them, let me just add them to the line real quick. They'll be able to help you with that. Let me just ask them for your routing and account number. And then while you're on the call, mute out, coach them through it when you're on hold, get the routing and account number. Boom, you just keep going, right? Keep going.
You know how many times I did that, man?
Dude, so many.
Right? But I got to make it real for the agents who are new watching this, dude. You got to do that sometimes, or you'll lose the sale. Like, it's these little decisions that you have to make on the fly that are going to make or break. Well, not necessarily make or break you, because you're always going to get better no matter what. Just don't give up, you know? But dude, you got to do it sometimes, man.
You have to, right? You have to. That's huge. So, let's see. What's your schedule like?
So I normally, like, we're kind of piloting this new program with my IMO, right? So I got a couple extra meetings sprinkled in here and there, but typically I like to block my dial sessions like in 3-hour days, because I don't want to drive myself crazy, but I also want to make sure that I'm chunking enough time to be actually productive during that time. Now, while I dial, dude, nothing else matters. Like, the house has to be on fire for me to get up. Otherwise, I'm not going to get my dials. Sometimes I'll even leave my phone in a whole nother room, right? So I like to dial from like 9 to 12, sometimes even later from like 10 to 1. And then from like 1 to 3 or 12 to 3, I'll take a break. But the break is just as important as the time to dial. And I'm going to say that again. The break is just as important. So that means no outbound dials. From like
what do you do? What do you do in that time?
I eat, if my kids are in school, I pick them up from the school bus. Maybe I'll prepare dinner, work out. I work out 2 times a day, sometimes 3 times a day. And that's pretty much it, man. I'll like take a chill for like the next 30 minutes, maybe upload some YouTube videos or something. And then I'm back on the phones from like 3 to 5 or 3 to 6.
Why is it so important to take the break? Why is it as important than the outbound dials?
So I don't I don't really believe in burnout, to be honest with you, but I look at it like the bigger picture, and I'm just able to focus on the things that I need to focus on during that extra 3 hours, like doing the laundry if I have to, little minute things that might be in the back of your head while you're dialing. You want to knock those out. Yeah, because like you'll be on the phone dialing, and like maybe you got 50 dials within 2 hours, right? And you're just like, dude, I'm gonna go switch the laundry. Switching the laundry turns into mop in the kitchen. Then it turns in, you know what I'm saying? Like your whole day's gone. So that's kind of like what my schedule looks like.
I like that idea of time blocking. I haven't done it yet, but I think it's good to take a break. It's good to like chill, like be like dialed in, focus. Turn your phone on do not disturb, mute, whatever. For me, like I hand dial still, right? So like I still dial from my phone, so like I kind of got to keep it on. That could be distracting sometimes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I think it's I think it's good though, because good to like block off the time and like just sit there, stay focused, stay dialed in, and then you take a little break, an hour break, few hour break, which is good, and it helps boost productivity, right, too, as well. What are your go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I get up early. Like, I was just talking about my schedule for work, right? Like, I get up early because I believe that personal development is your next level up. Personal development is you going from 5K a month to 5K a week, and nothing else. Literally nothing else. Like, you work on yourself, and you'll notice a level up regardless of what you're saying on the phone. You're just gonna be a better person that's in that position that you're currently in. So think about that. Like, you're never gonna miss, right? Because you're building the habits that create the person who's gonna be successful. You're building the habits that are going to create the person that's going to be successful, right? So I wake up early and I inflict self-adversity, right? I work out. I don't really do a cold plunge or none of that, but I whip my ass in the gym. Sorry for the language, but I work out real early in the morning. Sometimes I'll fast and I stay light on my carbs, right? And when I notice when I run these routines in very well, it takes like, what's the word? It creates predictability in your business. Because I'm doing this, and this in the morning, and then at 9 o'clock, I'm working from this time to this time, right? It creates predictability for the week. But I just wanted to add that to there.
Yeah, it's huge. What's your daily activity goals?
For the lead type, it really depends. So like I take the pre-qualified callbacks and I'm doing no less than 100, but I won't cap it. I won't put a maximum on there because again, what's more important to me is the schedule. Because if I'm sitting down dialing for 3 hours, I'm gonna hit my activity goal, right?
Yep.
So it's either 100 dials minimum or 2 hours of talk time minimum, and that's gonna be the metric to make a sale. So you guys have to figure out what lead type you're taking, what are the metrics for that lead type, and what do you have to do in order to ring that gong? Ding, make a sale.
Yeah. So what? So just $100 minimum. Is there a presentation goal as well, or no? Just
I know a lot of people, man, a lot of successful people actually that have like they track presentations and stuff like that. I don't. I just focus on the activity.
Gotcha. So you're just dialing, and what would you say you do a day? Do you not even like 3 to 5 a day? I'm assuming something like that,
Mm,
or you're not even totally sure.
yeah, it's hard because sales is streaky, right? Like we're humans, so as much predictability as you want to create, you're always going to have to deal with the swing of the pendulum. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah.
Ups and downs. So like
Yeah. It's huge.
for instance, my last month I wrote 41,000, right? There was a whole week, Johnny, I didn't make one sale.
Wow.
Some people probably like, I'll say that like 41,000 is like 10 grand a week, right? Technically, dude, I didn't make one sale from Saturday till Friday. The next Friday come around. Like,
were you dialing and putting in the activity during that time?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's the only thing that I was doing, right?
What do you feel like was not like, were you just getting more objections than usual, or like what was coming up, or just not even able to get into those?
Yeah, I try not to. It's going to be hard for me to say this, right? Because we're veterans. So a new agent, it might be a little bit different. There might be an actual problem. But for me, I know my numbers and I trust my numbers. And that's the biggest thing, is trusting the process. And that's why it's good to know your numbers, but it's even better to put that work in. No good deed goes undone. You heard that from Napoleon Hill, right? That
Yes,
means
sir.
if you do the work, it's going to happen. You just have to trust the process. And so
Yeah.
on that Friday, I wrote 10 grand. Not for any other reason. This is crazy, just me even thinking about it, bro. Like, no other reason than I put the work in and I knew it was going to happen. I can't tell you I didn't do anything differently, man. I just called my leads like I normally do. It was just ready to grow at that time.
Yeah. Do you have like people you don't close, or people you're not like, or do you have a pipeline like that you put in, like that you just call back and try to like reclose or things like that?
Yeah, man. My my leadership, right? They're gonna kick my ass when they hear this, right? But I'm terrible with follow-ups, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Everybody got their kryptonite, right? Like mine is following up, baby. I probably got a pipeline full of sales right now, man. But I'm like, give me the new people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, I'm trying to basically create a schedule that fits that in there. But it's just when I see new leads, bro, I'm just like, man, I'm gonna dial these new folks, you know, like, because I feel like I give it my all when I quote, and that's why I think I'm the master of the one call close, because I'm painting the perfect picture. I'm overcoming the objection, and if they're just not ready to buy, they're gonna call me back, which is not the right way to think as a new agent. But for me, I can afford to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have referrals, I have new leads. I'm not really strutting for cash flow to buy new leads. As a new agent, though, I'm calling the people that I sold the next week to ask them for referrals. Like, I'm literally squeezing every little ounce I can just to, help with cash flow and stuff like that. So,
yeah. That's good. I like that. So your schedule, 3-hour blocks once a day, doing the presentation, doing the activity, constantly. What kind of leads are you working?
I just do the callbacks right now.
What else have you found success in that like you would recommend for like a final expense telesales agent?
Bro, I've seen it all, man. I've seen age leads work. I've seen Facebook leads work. But I'll say this, like, you want to set yourself up for success. So get with a company that has TCPA compliance. Like, don't go out there and buy year-old age leads and like open yourself up for problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's huge. That's huge.
Like, and that's the cool thing about Facebook. If you're good with marketing and you got the time and you're ready to like maybe take a whooping or two on some marketing mistakes you're gonna make, by all means do it, but it's just better to find someone who has a trusted lead. My IMO provides the leads, they generate them their own, but if I had to go through a vendor, I would be doing as much like marketing research as possible, making sure they're TCPA compliant, and any lead will work. The real question, Johnny, is who do you have to become to make it work regardless? There's people out there who will make it work with no leads. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll go knock doors. So you got to become the person that's going to make anything successful, you know?
Yeah, dude, that's a really, really, really good point. I love that. What would you're training new agents now, right? Like you're starting to take more people on and really start training agents.
Yeah.
What would you say, like the successful agents that you're starting to train, like what would you say like good characteristics that they have are?
They're just ready to fail forward. I mean, that's the best I can put it.
Huge.
Like, yeah, they're not waiting for permission to go. They're going.
Yeah, dude, that's huge. What do you feel like you found success in, like as a final expense agent, like selling telesales? I think it's like the dream, right? I think nowadays, like a lot of people are more transitioning to telesales, being able to sell over the phone. I mean, it's nice because literally I could wear the same thing every day. I could wear shorts and a t-shirt every day. I could be like wherever it is. Like literally I was in the airport the other day closing a deal. And I was like in the airport line getting ready to board, and you're closing deals because you could do it wherever. It really opens up the freedom to do this business wherever you want. I'm literally moving across the country, being able to travel while still building the final expense business. What have you found is like to be I don't know, like let me ask it a different way, I guess. Like what are some things that you do really well that other agents could like emulate into their final expense business?
I'm gonna just keep saying it, bro. Activity. Put the work in, and that's why that schedule that I have is so important, because you have to show up every day. And that's why another reason why I said, bro, like personal development,
huge.
Without that, if you can't show up for yourself every day, how are you gonna show up and call leads every day, right?
Yeah,
most people don't even look at like what they put in their body. You know what I'm saying? So you're subconsciously telling yourself your worth just by what you're eating. You know, are you working out? Like, is your health not that important? Then how is business gonna? You know what I'm saying? It runs in conjunction with that. So I would say like come up with a schedule. I say like 9 or 10. I start later because I have 3 kids. I live with them. You know what I'm saying? So like, and my wife as well. So I have to kind of adjust to their schedule. But there's people out there who don't have any kids. They have no wife. It's just them. Feel free to start earlier. You know, make a schedule that you can stick to and try to make it like 3 hours of time. You know, strictly production. If you're doing inbound leads, 3 hours dedicated to that. Right? Outbound, 3 hours dedicated to that. And then create a second, 3 hours in that same day. That way you can do a minimum of 6 hours per day.
Yeah. Yeah. That's big. And I think a lot of times like people psych themselves out of how much they're working. And I had to take that gut check and reality check too. Like, hey, I'm like putting in the hours, but like how much am I actually like sitting down, putting and just hammering the phone? And I think that's what really opened my eyes. Like, hey, a solid 30 hours of hammering the phone and dialing and talking to clients is way better than 50 hours, like half.
Dude, like you just touched on something huge, man, because that's what overanalyzers do, man. That's how I was when I first started. Hey, do I need a new website? Do I need a logo? Like, should I change my number? You know what I'm saying? You just get so lost in the sauce when you just like you just leave it up to the world to decide when it's a good time to dial. But when you actually like intentionally schedule your time in, you'll find that more money's hitting your bank account and you're protecting more families. And that's what matters, So what you just said is like super on point, dude.
Yeah, bro. How do you go about getting more referrals?
I ask in the application. So if you notice, like right before I got into the medical questions on the script, I said, hey, Johnny, is this just going to be a quote for you today, or you and a loved one in the home as well? All right. And so if they say if they have a wife or whatever the case is, they will, here, let me show you. This is the first way, right? The first way I do it on the call, and I'll pull referrals from that. I'd say I get like 10% people, like 1 out of every 10 will have a spouse sale with it. But if you're not asking that question, man, you're leaving literally thousands of dollars on the table. So that's the first way I get the spouse sale. And then the second way, I'm going to show you right now, is these. Well, you can't really see them.
Cards.
Yeah, they're just simple little thank you cards. So I'll just like put a refrigerator magnet in there with a picture of me, my license number, just like a witty little quote on that thing. And then I'll just mail it out, snail mail it. Hey, thanks for letting me help you protect. Again, I don't use beneficiary, right? I say their name. Johnny, thanks for letting me protect Susie from your financial burdens. If you need anything, feel free to reach out. And then on the back of the thing, I'll put, throw this on the fridge. And then I'll follow up with them. Hey, did you get my card? Did you, by the way, we give $25 per person that you send our way. You know anybody? Boom. And then that's it.
And how do you go about calling the beneficiary or calling the referral?
Well, I set a due date for like the next week after you make the sale, especially if it's gone to underwriting, because you kind of have to follow if it's not an instant approval, you should have a system that you can plug into, right? So that tracks the disposition of a sale. So for instance, if someone you just put through American Amicable gets referred to underwriting, it should have a disposition that says that, so that it's not an approval yet, right? Or it's not a decline yet. So I'll set a week out from the day that I sign it and submit it, right, to follow up with the carrier first, figure out the outcome so that I can keep them posted and be in front of their face. Because think about this too, guys. If you're not following up with your people on the sale, other agents are. Inadvertently, you might sell somebody, but guess what? They probably put their name through like 10 other referral things, you know what I mean? Like lead forms. So other agents are hitting them, but you already one call close them because you're watching Johnny Nitifin's channel on YouTube and you guys learn how to one call close, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
Boom. So, but you got to stay in their face. Hey, Miss Mary, just want to give you an update on your case. We're going to be able to mail this out to you by next week. And then, like you just work it in through there.
Yeah, that's huge. That's dude, that's so good. Being able to get referrals. That's something that I lack and I need to get better at, because that's just free money, bro. That's so good. And then the handwritten cards, that's huge. So, yeah, that's really good. And getting those instant approvals as well, having a carrier that will give you an instant approval to really try to get that, because if you don't, some of these clients, it's really hard to get back on the phone. So it's like crucial that you do that and get that instant approval. How do you go about getting, like, are you cool post dating business, or are you like an ASAP like king? Are you like, we're getting this done today? Or what?
I didn't even know you could post date. Like when I first started as an agent, like I said before, I come from like a background of just like hard hitting telesales, like pushing through today, right, kind of deal. But hey, dude, that's why we get advances, right? I had no idea that we get paid on a piece of business that didn't need to drive today. So I post date everything, but it allows me to build up a little bit more time to create persistency on those books, right? A little bit more trust with these clients. And so the ones that do stick on the business, you're going to be able to cross-sell them Medicare. You're going to be able to sell their spouse or their children a final expense or a term policy later on down the line, because you're building up basically like a whole profile of a person who's become a part of their family. So if they want it day one, run it. We can do it day one. But I use that post date as an advantage to close more deals.
Yeah.
Is that what you meant? Like, is that the question you're
asking? Yeah.
Okay,
That's it, right? That's huge. Yeah, it's big. That's like really big. Do you sell Medicare now or no?
No, not yet. I mean, eventually we'll probably get to it. Yeah, probably. I gotta check, man, because I might have my wife jump into it first, because she sits here and she sells with me. But I'm more focused on like training agents as opposed to like jumping into another industry,
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Cool, man. Well, this has been really fun. This has been really good for new agents. Guys, go run it back. Drop in the comments, fire emojis for Anthony. What are your closing thoughts for a new or struggling agent wanting to crush telesales just like you are? What would your advice be to them?
Dude, become the person. Just focus on becoming the person. That's it.
Dude, that's it. Guys, if you haven't already, go check out iCrack Codes. Guys, he's got a lot of bombs that he's dropping. Really great content. I appreciate you, our friendship, and being able to like be sidelines, be crushing it. It's really cool. How can people reach out to you if they want to work with you or be able to follow you on the journey?
Yeah, I crack codes on all platforms, Instagram and YouTube. I have a link as well in my IG and YouTube. So trust me, it's easy. Once you guys tap in, it's easy to hit me up.
Boom. Well, I appreciate you guys watching this. Again, go watch, rewatch the top 1% of agents. Rewatch. That's how I was able to become a top 1% telesales agent, is because I just consistently listened, watched these videos just like how you guys are doing, memorized the word tracks, and implemented them right away. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share this with a friend, and I'll see you guys in the next one.